Hey everybody, Claudia from the Wee Garden Homestead here. Just wanted to drop in and reiterate a little bit of what I talked about on my live last night. If you saw my live, you know that I did not post any videos last week. The last 2 weeks before last night, I hadn't even done a live. It was just such a busy couple of weeks that I just was having a really hard time getting some content out for you. So if you didn't tune in last night, I'm going to recap a little bit of what I did work on last week with you, just so you can see. You know, I was working, I was sewing. Just sometimes I don't have enough time to sew and to get the cameras set up, and I just want to sew. I'd like to work on things. I like to cut, I like to plan, and I like to cut, but sometimes I only have a few minutes to work on it. So I might get something like a little portion of something done, but if I stop and set up the camera and that, then I just wouldn't have that time. So I'm not really trying to make excuses. I'm just trying to tell you how it works. And I know some of you missed me because I did get some messages and I did get some comments last night on the live. So yes, we're fine, and I know it has been a little bit since I posted a video, but we're good. I was just busy all week. So if you haven't seen the live, you can go ahead. I'll put the link to the live from last night in at the end of this video. I'll put the link in there, and you can go back and watch that. But I am going to go back over some of the stuff that I did get done last week, so that you can see the things that I've been working on and all of that. And then probably going to touch a little bit on what I have coming up this week. I am really going to try to get back to Monday, Wednesday, Friday videos and Saturday night lives. I know you guys look forward to them, and I really appreciate that. I know I have a few favorite YouTubers out there that I really look forward to it, and I miss it when they don't post. So I'm really going to try to get back with it. So without any further ado, I'm going to take you in the other room. I'm going to take you to the table. I'm going to show you what I've gotten done this week, what's going on with that, and then I'll give you a quick preview of what I'm going to be working on. Probably next might be a video for Wednesday. Not sure, but I'm going to try. So I'm going to take you in the other room, and we'll see what's going on. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is I did get. I know I had done one of these, and I can't remember which one it was, but I did get the rest of these. Please excuse the mess on my table. I have so many things I'm working on right now. I did get the rest of these butterflies finished. These are for a donation quilt for a family that has had a fire. These are going into the mom's quilt, the quilt for the mom. And I was just going to do the butterflies. My sister's putting the quilt together. She's piecing it, and then it'll go to a long armor, and then I don't know if she's going to be binding it or if somebody else is, but it's a big group effort for a group on Facebook called Sew, SEW It Forward. I've been talking about it a lot lately. So I did finish these butterflies, and then I was talking to my sister about them, and she said that they were going on a white border, on a white background anyway. And we discussed the border, that she was going to probably border them and then put them into the quilt. And I said, well, I can go ahead and border them if you want. And she said, oh, that would be great. And I'm so glad I did, because they look so sharp. If you saw the video of when I made the first one and showed you how to do it, you could tell that the edges were a little raggedy. Well, that one's pretty neat, but some of the edges, they weren't like right here. They weren't terribly even, and it just made them look messy. But once I put that border on there, that white border on there, they look fantastic. So these are going in the mail tomorrow, which is when you'll be seeing this video. So I guess I should say they're going in the mail today. Today's Sunday. I'm recording on Sunday. So these are going in on Monday to her, so she can put them into the quilt. But I just wanted you to see them all finished. I really like this one. I do really like the yellow with the pink flowers too. I just think they're so pretty. And these would be great scrappy. I think these would be great scrappy. I even think if you had two different prints here and two different prints here, that if they were similar in color, that you could get away with even that. Or I don't know, maybe even just all of them different. I'll have to try that and see how it looks. That probably won't be till after the first of the year, though. So anyway, I have all 7 of these blocks finished, and in no particular order. I don't know how she's going to put them into the quilt. She's making some sunflower blocks to go with it. There is a center panel, some sunflower blocks, and some little, I think they're 9-patch blocks going in there, and then the rest of it, the background is going to be white. So these are going to go to her. They're going in the mail tomorrow. Hopefully USPS doesn't have too much of an issue with getting things out properly. I don't know how I want to fold these. They have to go into this. I've already got the label printed and on there, so I want to make sure that they fit. Just a little long. There we go. I'll close that up, and that's going to go in the mail tomorrow. So next up was, and I've already stuffed these in an envelope, so let me pull them back out. I worked on these blocks also for the Sew It Forward group. This quilt I am going to be piecing, so all of the blocks are coming to me, and I've got 3 envelopes full of them already that other people made, and I'll pull them out, and you'll get to see them when I piece this. But these are the ones I made, and when I did the live last night, I didn't have these 3 finished yet. But so there's these with the baseballs, there's these with the basketballs, and then this is for a little boy, and he likes the Dallas Cowboys, among other teams. But it's all sports themed. They're going to go together like this. There's going to be 42 blocks, and they're going to go together sort of like that. These are 10 by 10 blocks. I think they call them rainy day blocks on the Facebook page, and they're 6.5, and these are 2.5, and they're 10 inches long. So I cut them at, I cut it at, I have to remember, 6 and 2.5 and 2.5, and then that makes them 10 inches wide, and then they're 10 inches long, and that's how they go together. Super easy, super fun. So that's that. Let me pull out the next thing, and I'll be right back. Okay, so the next thing is I was going to do, I like to have something set aside that's going to be super easy, and I was going to do some more of the butterfly blocks because I really liked them, and I started cutting from that box of pink fabrics that Barbara had sent me. I started cutting the pieces I needed for the wings, so the 6.25 and the 4.25 by 5-inch pieces for the wings, and I had a bunch of them cut, and then I happened to think that I didn't really have a lot of white on white left, and those blocks took a lot of thinking and a lot of work, and they were time consuming, and I like to have something super quick and easy set aside to just go with it. So what I did instead was I cut 5-inch strips, and some of these are from the pinks from there, some of them are the leftovers from the butterflies, some of these are little bits that I got in one of my end bolt boxes, just whatever I grabbed that was happy looking, I grabbed it. I cut a 5-inch strip, and then I cut 6 inches and 4 inches. And I'm just going to, hopefully not pink on pink, but just going to sew them together. Make sure it's still in frame. I'm just going to sew them together sort of like this. And I have gotten started on this when I've had just a few minutes here this week to sew. I have gotten started on this, and then I did a few more today. So I think I did like another 20 today. So here's how they go together, just like that. And I just tried to make sure I didn't have, because I had so much pink, and honestly what I have left now is almost all pink. So I'll probably wait to stitch the rest of those until I have some other colors to mix in. But oh, I stitched that one wrong. Well, let's get that one out of the pile. I do that every once in a while. Like I said, this was no thinking involved. I was just sewing. So these are how they go, and then I'll just take and I'll put them together like that. So basically, I'm just going to sew these until I have what I think is enough for a quilt. Let me get these out of the way. Keep that one separate because I've got to fix it. So I do have a couple. Put that one over there. I do have a couple that I put together, and like that, so you get an idea. And then I thought, well, these are all about the same tone. They're all medium colors. There's no super light ones. There's no dark ones. So I thought, well, they're all bright, but they need something else to accent them. And I thought, well, I'll use half those blocks, and then I pulled these print on whites. This one came from the last box from Barbara, that box of pinks. And then these two came from the first box from Barbara, and these are pretty good sized pieces. I think these are probably that's probably a yard. This Riley Blake, I think, that's about a half a yard. But anyway, these blocks are 9.5 right now, 9.5 square. This is a nice piece. This is probably close to a yard. So I'm going to cut these at 9.5, and then they're going to alternate like that. Sure you can see that. So that's what I'm going to, that's working on that kind of in between whatever I have big going on. So just a lot of little stuff. It was kind of a shotgun week, just working on a whole bunch of different stuff. A shotgun week. In other words, it just sprays out everywhere. That's all that I really got done this week. I've got other projects kind of set aside and laid out. Things that don't really have a thing going on yet. The next thing I'm going to be working on, and I may get started on it this afternoon still. Give me just a moment. Okay, the next thing I will be working on for sure. Jocelyn was over sewing this week. She was working on her baby brother's quilt, and she asked me about this one. She said, "Oh, we have to finish that." I said, "Well, I have to finish it because I don't think she can." This is her quilt. We did a disappearing 9 patch on this, and we just set them back up kind of mumbo jumbo. And then we did a pieced backing. So it's got the black on either side, and then it's just got these strips going down the middle of coordinating fabrics that were in this. So I need to make a sandwich and get this quilted. Salty asked me last night, was I going to get my 25 and 25? And I said, oh yes, I think I'm at 21, and I've got a stack of things that need to be quilted and bound. So this is going to be very next on my list, and I may go tackle that here in just a little bit. I do have a quilt I need to start for my grandson for Christmas. I'm thinking, and if any of you can help me, I'm thinking about a pattern where I make a bird in these colors, blocks of the bird and these colors on the front, and then use this on the back. I don't know. Maybe I'll just do 4 patches in these colors and alternate it with this and then use this on the back. But this is so pretty. This was from that box from Barbara too. This is a Tula. I'll call you later. Pretty sure this is a Tula pink fabric. And it's just so pretty. I can't wait to do something with it. Yeah, Macaw You Later. Macaw Ya Later by Tula Pink. Just so pretty. So this is going to be a quilt. I don't know. I've got a bunch of stuff laid out. Yes, I've got to get some finished up. So I have my 25 and 25. This is next. And then, yeah, I'm just gonna get ripping through some of this stuff and get it finished up. So thanks so much for joining me. I will hopefully have this quilt reveal for you on Wednesday. I'm not sure about that because I want Jocelyn to be here to film the quilt reveal with me because she made that quilt. That is hers. I helped her with it, but this is her quilt. So she needs to do the reveal. Otherwise, I'll have something else for you on Wednesday. Thanks so much for joining me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, all the good stuff, and we'll see you on the next one.